do I feel good today? What is up, DTL Universe? It's your boy, the coach, and we are here every single weekday on demand on Saturdays, and then 2 live shows on Sunday. Now, our schedule has changed just a little bit. We are now on at 4 p.m. Eastern time on Stadium, Amazon Prime, all over DirecTV. You guys know the drill. For you OGs, you degenerates that watch us every single morning live, we love you. We continue to grow this time slot as well. On your way in, do me a favor, hit that like button. It really helps the show grow. And we want you to ask as many questions as possible because my crew is in the chat as well. Now, we always look back before we look forward. And yesterday, not our best day. 2 and 4. We had several futures that we play on Wednesdays and Tuesdays, but that's okay because we're a crew for a reason. We got a ton of content. All I need you to do is hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share all of the show, and don't forget, if you are a premium member and you are able to gift premium memberships, if you had a good week with the crew, you get this, the podcast, DTL, the podcast. Audio drops with our partners at Pantheon every single day at 2 p.m. Eastern time, and then the video for you premium members, you get it at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Now, Week 11 starts tonight in the National Football League, and I could not be more excited for the matchup that we have. Howie Schwab would have loved a day like today. So, what are we playing together? Will it be the Commanders plus 3.5? Will it be the Eagles minus 3.5? Or is the total tickling your fancy? Over 48.5 and under 48.5. Producer man will let me know at the end of the show. So without further ado, you guys know I got the best damn crew in the business. So without further ado, it's time for the picks. It's like Dan says in the chat, let's get some cash tickets on this glorious Thursday. Dan, thank you very much for that because it's a vibe. It's a vibe, and look who I have today. What a group that we have assembled. First and foremost, I don't believe these two have ever met. The only 5-star chef in the game. Seabass, have you met young Peyton yet? Good morning, sir.
Not like officially-ish, but yeah, good morning, coach. Morning, crew. Peyton, what's up?
And we come over to
I feel
young
like
Peyton.
That kind of fits the vibe for Peyton. Just what's up?
It does. That's why I came to you first. Hey, Peyton, meet our resident curmudgeon, Seabass. We love him because he's just himself every single day. Good morning, Peyton, live from Dallas, Fort Worth. No! Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? Oh, I feel very weird, guys.
Oh, gosh.
No, it's too late to owe yourself. We've already owed you. We've already owed you. So, oh, man, I'm going to have to call Papa Bear. Tell him he owes $5.
Oh, my
Venmo
goodness.
that over. Somebody tomorrow will get a live membership, a new premium membership, courtesy of young Peyton. By the way, what I was getting ready to do was promo you coming up in about 30 minutes. He will have his daily, when he's on the show, PrizePicks selections that you guys don't want to miss. Peyton, anything you'd like to say to the good people at home?
Well, you're welcome for the free membership, but it's a little cold out here this morning. I'm feeling pretty good. It's going to be a nice day, nice Thursday night of football as well.
I just got a text from your father. He says, and I quote, "Tell the kid he's on his own." Very interesting. Next, he is our numbers guy for a reason. He never stops working. Raphael Esparza. Good morning, Raphael.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, crew. I thought Seabass brought his baby to the show, so I thought it was something different on here. But no, I guess these two finally got to meet. Should be a great day. I can't wait for this Thursday night football game.
Did you call me Croach? Did you say a mix between Coach and...
I probably can't. I've only had 2 cups of coffee this morning. That's very low for me.
Yeah, Brian just said Croach. Crouch. Apparently, I've got a new name here.
That's a street name.
Yeah. Now, speaking of sleep, this man has had a couple of hours because he does the Grizzlies postgame. And last night, you had to tout. And we'll get to the NBA coming up in about 10 minutes. But you got to watch and then talk about one LeBron James. another triple-double, but it was more about the Grizzlies not playing anybody. But you're up here this morning, DG, for little old us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, crew. Didn't sleep a lot last night, but we got to see a little bit of a LeBron triple-double. So shout out to the King, even though it was against my Grizzlies. But, shout out to the King.
Boom and boom. Now, before we get to our picks today, and all 5 of us have picks today, but Seabass, I'm going to start with you because you come off to us. I mean, you've been part of the crew for a minute now. A guy that would never apologize for being successful, never apologize for doing something maybe out of the ordinary. And last night, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they made it 13-0 against a team that did not have Mr. Maxey, did not have Joel Embiid, did not have Paul George. Who did they have? But Donovan Mitchell, going after his first triple-double of his career, passed up a wide-open dunk in a tight game, did not get it, apologized to the world. Did he need to?
I think for Donovan Mitchell being the leader on that team, actually, I think it's a good move. Apologies are one of those things that sometimes they're needed, sometimes they're not. But in a tight game like that and the way they're rolling, I think it just sets a tone for the team that, hey, guys, yeah, I made a selfish play at that point when I should have just went up and made the dunk and took the points, guarantee a win.
DG, let me come over to you. You're our NBA aficionado. We're talking about just 6 teams have ever in the history of the NBA started 13-0. Everybody was kind of laughing about the Donovan Mitchell thing after the game. If they would have lost, though, and cost themselves that history, they wouldn't have been laughing at all.
No, there would be no laughing when you do that. It's a selfish personal play, but in the end of the day, honestly, no harm, no foul. And so this is kind of be swept under the rug. But shout out to the Cavs, but shout out to Kenny Atkinson, who took over as the coach there, completely just changed around the Cavaliers and what they actually have there in Cleveland.
I felt like our numbers guy as I was doing the research, Raphael, for the Cavs. And I was like, man, look at all these. 4 of the 5 previous teams to start 13-0 have gone to the NBA Finals, yet one, 1993-94 Rockets won the NBA Finals. That, of course, when Michael Jordan, young Peyton, you don't remember this, probably weren't even born then. Michael Jordan took a little hiatus to play baseball. So, Raphael, you're almost sometimes as negative as Seabass. How do you feel about this one in the apology?
I love the hiatus to play baseball. No, he was suspended because gambling. They just could not label that because back then gambling was a big no-no. But yeah, it's just weird. First of all, I thought Mitchell had a triple-double. So I give him all the praise of trying to get one. To get your first triple-double, go for it. You're perfect right now. Your team is unstoppable. But this team, Kenny Atkins is going to probably get free agents that want to come there, and the trade deadline for the Cleveland Cavaliers is going to be very interesting what Cleveland is doing right now. They could be a force. They can knock off Boston.
Right now, they're the 7th as far as the odds are concerned, young Peyton, to win it all. So the books are not respecting them despite this start. Are you respecting them, Peyton?
Yeah, I mentioned this on Tuesday when you asked, and I just don't think they have the star power to win the NBA Finals. But they do look really good right now, and they're playing really good regular season basketball. Probably the best team in the league, obviously through records. But I think they have 6 different players who are averaging over 10 points a game. That's really good ball movement. And to see Donovan Mitchell playing the way he is, it's really impressive as well.
And thank you for throwing your next level host under the bus as if we're just regurgitating the same. So when you asked me the same question on Tuesday, Coach, I told you the same answer at the top of the show as we're trying to get people to come in and watch the show.
I was just trying to throw it out there for people who heard me on Tuesday.
Seabass, control your kid.
All right, with that
Easy,
being said,
easy.
We got picks from everybody tonight, and tonight's a big one. It's a big one in the NFL. We're talking about the Commanders and the Eagles. But, DG, I want to start with you because there's also just one single solitary game in the NBA. And we're talking about the Mavericks and we're talking about the Jazz. So why don't we start with a little association this morning? You're up.
We're only 15% of the way through the NBA season, and I'm back on the lively train. We're going to go with a little triple play here. We're going to go over 8.5 points at plus 100, over 8.5 rebounds at minus 105, and then over 1.5 assists at plus 105. If you think I'm crazy, yes, that is true. But if you want to play the over 18.5 points, rebounds, and assists, that's fine. I'm attacking all 3 of these individually, and I'm going to have some fun with it because I think he's now getting 22 to 26 minutes a game. And so going against a Jazz team who allowed the most 2 centers. I promise you, Lively is going to feast tonight.
Boom. I encourage all of you not only to follow DG on social media, but understand he is locked in this NBA season. Let's stack all 3 of those for Mr. Lively. Now, Peyton, you're the only other one on the show today that also is feeding in to the one NBA game tonight, but also you're on the NFL game. 2 picks. Talk to me.
Well, had to make sure my mic was on. Well, I'm going with the Eagles to win by 4 tonight, Coach, to cover the spread at -108. The Commanders have just 1 win against a team over 500 in the Arizona Cardinals. Their other wins against teams who are a combined 21-37. They've beaten the Giants twice, both in 1-score games, plus the Commanders' corner, Marshawn Lattimore, who they brought in at the deadline, is not playing tonight. So I'm going with the Eagles here. Next, yes, I'm going to the NBA. Dallas to cover by 9 at -112. These guys have a bad taste in their mouths. The Mavs have lost the last 3 games by 1, 2, and 3 points in that order, which is pretty funny. I know it's early, like DG mentioned, but this does not need to only be a win tonight. It needs to be an absolute blowout, and the Mavericks need to shoot the ball really well tonight to get back on their feet in the Western Conference.
I almost played Klay Thompson's number tonight because I think he's going to be a little bit pissed off after that high school tete-a-tete with Steph Curry that we'll talk about potentially later in the show. All right, so now we've got the basketball out of the way. Seabass, let me come over to you because you are locked and loaded on football, but also football players on the ice. You're up.
Coach, I'm going to go against young Peyton here, and I'm going to take the Commanders plus the 3.5. Maybe it's just because I'm feeling the buzz here in D.C. I love Jaden Daniels. I like this kid a lot. That's my only analysis on this game in terms of the Commanders and taking them. I don't care about anything else. It's just a feeling. I could be completely wrong here. Maybe they get blown out, whatever. But it's a division game. I like that I'm getting that half point on the 3. So give me the Commanders plus 3.5. And then the second part of that game, we're going to take the Eagles under 6.5 points in the first quarter. Now, they've only scored a touchdown, 7 points, in their last 2 games. It's against Dallas, who has the worst first quarter defense in the league, and Cleveland, who's Cleveland. Washington, on the other hand, number 7 in defense. They've only allowed 3.6 points in the first quarter per game. So give me the Eagles under 6.5 in the first quarter. And then, head on over to the ice. San Jose, second period, 1 goal. That's all we need, 1 goal. They've done it in 9 of their last 10 games. They did this the last time they played at the Rangers, and they're number 11 in the league in terms of goals scored in the second period.
Yeah, we never want to forget about the ice. They don't care about where the cash tickets come from. They just care that we cash the tickets. Seabass, thank you very much. All right, Raphael, let me come over to you because me and you are kind of in simpatico. Just a little bit. 2, you're up.
My first one is Commanders team total under 23.5 points, laying $1.25. I just think the defense of what the Steelers did last week, and now all of a sudden the Eagles defense, which some people say the Eagles defense is better than Pittsburgh. It could be a long night. The Eagles, 5 straight wins, and only one of those games was 20-plus points scored against them. I just think defense rules this game. I think Washington's going to have a really bad day on offense. And then give me Jaden Daniels under 226.5 passing yards. This one opened up at 224, got bet up a little bit. I think it comes down towards the rest of the day. And that's it. The Eagles defense is really good. This prop is hitting back-to-back games, and the Eagles have third best pass defense in the league right now. A very long day for Daniels.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a long day, but because of that long day, I think that he's going to throw it a lot tonight. And I think that at least early on, there's going to be a lot of dump-offs, and I think we're going to see a lot of completions because I think the Eagles, it could be kind of ugly. I'm leaning towards young Peyton. No offense, Seabass. And if the Commanders are behind by a lot, what does that mean? No running. A lot of passing, and I think we get over that 19.5 completions as well. So I like that both at -115. Do not forget, tonight, 7 to 8 Eastern time, live on Stadium, Amazon Prime, DirecTV, now YouTube TV, a full hour breaking down the entire Thursday night football game. And this is the biggest one we've had the entire year, and that is no hype. And I can't wait for it, the no-fly zone tonight with Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts. And will somebody please get into the club that's not named DG?
Coach, you're not in yet?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. We're just getting started. It's a vibe on a Thursday. This is DTL every single day. All right, you young OGs out there, you degenerates that join us on our YouTube page. We love each and every one of you. Continue to hit that like button for us on the way in. But last night, DG, you had that post-game Grizzlies and the Lakers. But apparently, Bronny's going to be able to go to all of these home games because if the G League team that he's going to play on, they have now confirmed he will only play home games. I didn't even read the article. I saw the headlines. Like, I don't even need to know why. But the fact that they're not making him a permanent part of this team, I think, will continue to hurt young Bronny.
I thought this was a joke. And honestly, I assumed it was the joke until Brian Windhorst confirmed it. It's just doing a disservice to a player that has potential. And so at this point, they're not allowing him to go on the road. What does that look like? It just says, hey, we want the ticket sales because we want him to play at home. And that's it. We don't care about his development. We care about ticket sales. And honestly, it's just greed and it's disgusting.
It kind of is, Raphael. I mean, right now they could not have fumbled this entire situation, in my opinion, any more than they have.
Yeah, the reason was for security reasons. What, you can't hire someone to sit next to his seat on the plane? That's a bunch of BS. I 110% agree with DG. There's just a money grab. And no, he doesn't even deserve the spot on the G League. His name on his jersey is the only reason why he has that shot.
Seabass, Ace in the chat said he scored at least 2 in 3 of his last 4 games. I mean, what
prop
are we
bets,
doing?
prop bets.
What are we doing, Seabass?
What's his prize pick number?
Can you imagine?
Demon play.
Has Bronny been? This is probably a dumb question. Has he been on PrizePicks at all this year?
No.
Nothing, right?
I don't think so. I don't think there might have been like a 1.5 points to 190.
Oh my
play.
God! You can't even do a more or less on that.
No.
How do you do less than a point?
Hey, make a layup for me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I tell you what, they live in this vacuum. LeBron lives with these blinders on, and he is doing a phenomenal job in trying to make people forget about the whole Bronny situation, especially last night as they played great. And we'll get into LeBron James and the entire night in the NBA. And in about 15 minutes, we'll dive into NFL, Thursday Night Football as well. We're back. 3 seconds. Okay, welcome back, everybody. We are on Stadium from 4 to 5 Eastern every single day now, starting that off. Shout out to Nick Costos and that entire crew on You Better, You Bet. And then tonight at 7 to 8 Eastern time, as always, DTL Prime Time Live as we break down everything Thursday Night Football. We'll get to the overs and unders, as we always do on Thursdays, coming up in about 15 minutes. But we've got to really get into the NBA because some people like it. Some people don't like it. We are smack dab in the middle of the NBA Cup, basically Tuesdays and Friday nights. But last night, DG, LeBron James continued to shock us all. Whether we have LeBron fatigue or not, you can still cash tickets on him. The oldest player to ever have 3 straight triple-doubles, 35 points, 12 rebounds, 14 assists in 37 minutes. Is it time for even those that are completely negative on LeBron to at least show the respect?
I think people have showed respect to LeBron. I don't think it's that. I think it's just the so much kind of like just shoving it down our throats in a sense of like we're just over it. And a lot of what he does is just kind of in your face so much. You're just like, all right, that's enough of that. But LeBron is the best when he wants to be the best. When LeBron is playing at the top of his game, there's probably nobody better. And that's kind of what probably disgusts a lot of people to hear. But the dude is amazing. He did everything he wanted to do last night against the Grizzlies. And if you look in the first and the fourth quarters, that's where they dominate the games. And that's when LeBron said, hey, I'm going to show up and I'm going to show out. And that's what he did.
And right now, Seabass, when you look at their record, everybody said, man, they're not going to be a very good team. They're going to be average at best. They're 7-4. They're in the 6th spot in the West. So they've gotten off to, I think, a much better start than people assume that they would. They're way down the list as far as betting is concerned, but they won 3 in a row. If AD's in the lineup and LeBron plays like this, then who knows?
Well, that's the question is if both AD and LeBron, look, the guy's good. He's good, whatever you want to say. But he's been able to stay healthy. Can AD stay healthy? We don't know. He hasn't been able to do it throughout his whole career, so I don't know how good they're going to be. But I think in the last year, they started the same way. They were pretty decent until AD got hurt. LeBron started taking some games off, and then they went down the little toilet there. But look, as far as LeBron, third straight triple-double, congratulations. Continued to pad the stats that no one will ever beat. Wonderful.
He has to have these stats in order for his team to win the game. And it may be too many minutes down the road, Raphael. We don't know. But right now, JJ Redick is saying, listen, I'm a first-year coach. I need to win ball games. There is no load management on our squad. And I'm kind of here for it as we head into a really big cup game for LeBron tomorrow, potentially 4 in a row.
I respect what he's done. 3 straight triple doubles. I respect King when he laces up his shoes to play. I have no respect for him outside of the game for some of his moves, including I want my money back after Space Jam 2. But what he's done with his son is completely nuts. Respect him on the court. One of the greatest, best, the number 2 of all time in the NBA. But everything off the court is just drama for me.
Quick trivia question. Young Peyton, do you know who the star of Space Jam was?
The original Space Jam?
Correct.
There's only one.
Of course, Michael Jordan. Come on now. I'm old enough to tell you that Space Jam 2 was terrible too.
That is very true. All right, we're gonna have another trivia question because last night, Mr. Wemby, you don't think he can shoot? How about 8 threes? I think his number was over a half or over 1.5. We're going to start having to look at all of these props because last night, Young Peyton, I'm going to start with you. He says, I want to make it where in the future, this is just a normal game for me. Now, he is the 4th youngest player to ever hit for 50 points. Can you name me the 3 players, one of the 3 players ahead of Wemby to do it in their careers?
LeBron?
Of course.
LeBron James is one of those. March
Safe pick.
2005, very safe play. He also was the 5th youngest as well. In December of 2005, he went for 52. He had 56. DG, let me come over. There's 2 more players. Don't look down. Do not look at your computer.
Thinking.
Can you name one of the other 2 players that went younger than Wemby to 50 points?
It has to be somebody that has come in out of high school because that's the only way that's possible.
Okay.
And so the only thing that I'm thinking of is Kobe.
Might come back to you. Seabass, do you have a guess?
Oh, man. I like where DG was going with the high school. Tracy McGrady?
Not Tracy McGrady. Treesap says Westbrook and Oscar. But we do want you to play with us. If you have a guess, don't look. And you guys don't look at the chat either. Don't look at your computer. See if you can guess. Really test yourself. And you need to really test yourself. These are not like household names. Raphael, can you name one of the 2 other players?
The 2 Kevins brought to my mind, Kevin Durant and Kevin Garnett. But I don't think either one of them were.
Neither one of those. I'll give you a hint, Young Peyton. Suns and Bucks.
Suns and Bucks?
Oh.
That still doesn't.
Got it. Deep book.
Devin Booker. Yeah, I was gonna say Devin Booker earlier, but
Devin Booker, 2017, 20 years, 145 days, which brings us now, Seabass, to the youngest player to ever score 50 points would be
Giannis?
No. Think left-handed, DG. Left-handed.
Left-handed.
I didn't get this one either.
I don't.
2009. 20 years, 52 days. Go ahead, Seabass.
Ray Allen.
No, he's not left-handed.
Just said left-handed. I literally just said
I think
left-handed.
Isn't it the boy that puked? Isn't it the guy that you puked all over his house when for wrestling, Michael Red?
Is it Michael Red?
It was not the man that I puked all over his house.
He was left-handed, though.
He was left-handed, and that is a true story. However, that was not Michael Red out of Ohio State because he went to college, just like DG said. I can't believe you just brought up that storyline on the show. It was so embarrassing. We had come
Can we
from
shift to that story?
Yeah, well, we'd come from a Playboy party, so that's the entire story. If anybody really wants to know, thank you, Raphael. You guys will never get it. Brandon Jennings. Brandon Jennings.
I
He
forgot
was
about
a
that.
high school legend.
Mm-hmm.
Legend. Came out, had a couple of good games, and then really didn't do that much else in his career. But Brandon Jennings, 2009, 20 years, 52 days. He scored 55 points, a double nickel.
Wow.
Now, one other big story from last night. You guys mentioned Giannis, and they've had an awful start. In fact, when you look at it, young Peyton, we're looking at Milwaukee is 4-8, but they've won their last 2, and maybe Doc Rivers is on to something. Giannis scored 22 of their first 24. He scored 59, well over whatever his prize pick total was. But the reason we're talking about these individuals today is because we're going to start leaning into those as we move forward. If Giannis starts to catch fire, maybe we get his number a little earlier, like around 26 or 27, before we get to February and it's at 28 or 29.
Yeah, well, last night was probably really I didn't know what it was before the game, but Dame was out, so he was putting up every shot for the Bucks. So, I mean, he was just attacking the rim. And, I mean, it's honestly, he's the best downhill player in the league, in my opinion. He can go and get a bucket whenever he wants or get fouled. And the biggest thing for his points last night was his free throws. I think he shot 16 out of 17, maybe at one point it was with a couple minutes left. He might have shot some more. But it was definitely his free throws that brought up his points.
See, and I want to see him be serious, DG. The other night we're talking about him doing the whole high school thing with Jaylen Brown. They don't have any more time to mess around. If you're Doc Rivers, you can't either. It's been all negative since Doc came over and they replaced the head coach last year after a really good start. This is the Giannis we need to see each and every night.
This is the Giannis that you want to see, but this isn't the Giannis that you can get every single night. This is an 82-game season. This is honestly, I wouldn't say one of one. He can probably give you 20 of these in a season. But you can't expect this. Their team is just so depleted on their bench. It's just, you look at them and Damian Lillard doesn't look like he wants to be there. And the surrounding pieces are either injured or just not as good. And so they're aging with Lopez. Middleton's always injured. And so there's no bench. The Bucks are done. Like, I hate to write off a team this early because Giannis is that good. No matter if they make the playoffs or not, Giannis can be the Greek freak. Giannis can be the best of the best. There's only so far that guy can take you.
By the way, shout out to Go See Mike. He gave us a little answer there, courtesy DG. He said Kareem Rush. If you know, you know. Kareem Rush. That was your worst. That was your worst moment ever on the show. Kareem Rush out of Kansas City. Raphael, let me come over to you because it kind of looks like everything is flip-flop right now. You got Cleveland, Boston, Orlando, New York. Those are the top teams. The Bucks, not that long ago, and we forget that sometimes personal lives come into play. He mentioned Damian Lillard. He's very publicly going through some issues off the court. That can then affect your play on the court. And if you're Giannis, because this is what LeBron would do, Giannis puts his team on his back and says, listen, we can't get too far out of this playoff race because then it's going to be very, very difficult to get back in.
Yeah, like DG said, Milwaukee's just aging right in front of our eyes. I think that's the biggest piece. Now, if you're Miami, Golden State, and the Knicks, you don't want them to keep on winning because I would not be shocked if the Greek Freak jumps ship maybe next year or the year after. And those three teams are possible landing spots for the Greek Freak. So if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, you need another maybe medium-sized winning streak. But you ain't going to get nothing from Middleton or the rest of the bench. Their bench is awful. So it's a bad time for Milwaukee right now.
I think it was a bad time for the NBA. Last night was really a night, Peyton, that we all needed. Because I mentioned on the show yesterday and maybe Tuesday, there are legit 8 to 10 of the top 20 stars in the entire league that are hurt right now. So there's a responsibility for guys like Giannis to not only show up, but show out.
That's for sure. And he definitely is. And like I mentioned, I mean, I know he's 7 feet tall, and so I'm not ripping him, but I mean, he doesn't have the most fluid jump shot. And when it's going in like it was last night, it's kind of unstoppable and hard to guard. So you can't rely on him to go for that many points every night because of how he's shooting from the outside. But I mean, if he's doing that, like I said, it's unstoppable. And Dame or no Dame, they're in good shape. But that being said, the Bucks are not in good shape for the season. I don't think they're.
Hey, Seabass, tomorrow is another NBA Cup night. How much are you into Friday night's list of games there, sir?
Before I get into my complete and utter disdain for this NBA Cup, I mean, are we forgetting that Doc Rivers is the coach of the Bucks? Their season was done when they signed him. They're not going anywhere. That's where that stops. But now back to the NBA Cup. Why?
15 seconds.
Why? There's no reason. If you're going to do it, you do it in the very beginning of the season. Why do you have a preseason? Let's play 5 games. Now we're getting into the Cup. For what? Let's give LeBron another title.
I'm really into it because of the fact that nobody talks about the NBA the first 2 months. This is the most any show has talked about the NBA that I've seen, period. So we'll talk about it, and me and Seabass will disagree. It is DTL. It's a vibe on a glorious Thursday morning. All right, you OGs, you degenerates out there, and Seabass, I'm coming back to you because you've been all over the WNBA this year, and you love yourself some Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Well, she proved her star power as she was playing in an LPGA Pro-Am. Her first tee shot, I don't know if you saw it, but they were like 4 or 5 people deep. She did a Charles Barkley hook straight into the crowd, damn near took somebody's head off. They were filming the video. The ball goes right past the video, and I said to myself, do not stand in front of amateurs. I don't care if it's Caitlin Clark, but her star power continues into November. Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised. It's Caitlin Clark. I mean, the media loves her. It's great. But, just because I have to, the media also loves Angel Reese. And you know that she's 7-0 in every professional. The team whose home game she attends is 7-0.
DG, your thoughts on Caitlin Clark? Because I think she's still mulling over that $1 million offer to play in a 3-on-3 league in the offseason.
That just lets us know that she's not perfect, okay? That she's human. Like, she sucks at golf, just like we all suck at golf, mainly Coach here, but not JJ. Take a little lessons from your son, Coach. Maybe Caitlin Clark, send her a video or something from your boy JJ. Maybe that might help her.
Yeah, he played pretty well yesterday. So, but thank you for the I'm catching a lot of strays today, Raphael. I'm catching a lot of strays today. Mark says from Weekend Wagers, the pro move was she had a mulligan ball ready to go in her right pocket, right back on the tee, and just hit the second one. That's what we all would do.
Not me. I've never golfed before, but Caitlin's shot looked like your girl Angel Reese's 3-point shot. That's what it was. Look exactly what that golf shot was.
Hey, she's working on that shot. You see the Instagram videos? You go follow her on Instagram. She's working on it.
It's broke.
Seabass, you're the only one that likes Angel Reese. The only one.
Maybe the only one on this show, but I'm not the only one.
Oh my gosh!
Watch, she's gonna be great next year.
If she shoots layups, she might be. But I don't want to have Angel Reese hate on the show because then the headline will be about half of the quote because they always get it wrong. It's a vibe. We are past the bottom of the hour right here. DTL on a Thursday. Welcome back, everybody, to Driving the Line. Do not forget, coming up at 7 Eastern tonight, we're live on Stadium, Amazon Prime, Direct TV, YouTube TV at full hours. We count down to the Commanders and the Eagles. We get into our over-unders coming up in just a couple of minutes. But on these Thursdays, we've got a PrizePicks expert, and he will now start posting videos all over our TikTok as well. So I encourage you to follow us there. Young Peyton, where are we going today with our PrizePicks before we get in to Thursday Night Football, sir?
Well, tonight, first, I'm going with Saquon Barkley, more than 95.5 rush yards. The Commanders allow 142 yards per game on the ground. That's the 5th most in the NFL. Saquon didn't have to do much against Dallas in that joke of a game, so he really should be ready to go tonight. The Eagles are going to be up in the 4th, running the football with him, so he'll get some extra yards there. I'm feeling pretty comfortable with that 93.5. Next, I'm going Jaden Daniels. I'm agreeing with you, Coach. More than 30.5 pass attempts. If the Commanders are losing, which I think they will be, this should be an easy pick. He had 34 attempts against Pittsburgh and lost, 38 against the Bears in a close game, and 35 against the Ravens and lost. So I think they lose tonight, and he hits this at more than 30.5 without a problem.
Yeah, Ray in the chat agrees with you. He said, I hope the Eagles coach sticks with Barkley tonight. The way they've been winning, that's exactly what they've been doing. So when you do a 2-play, because I need to be educated a little bit on PrizePicks, is this called anything or just a 2-play?
This is a 2-pick power play because you can't flex it if it's only a 2.
A 2-pick power play because you can't flex. Seabass, that kind of sounds like your world right now. Not allowing you to flex. It's completely taken away from your vibe.
Always flexing. Yeah.
Big Cheesy says the 2-piece bozo pack. Ouch, Big Cheesy. Damn. Everybody's taking some strays today, even young Peyton. Phil says, sorry, Coach, you can't flex. Me and the Costco guys. If you know, you know.
God.
All right, it's time to talk about overs and unders because you guys love your props out there this week, right here today. Overs and unders brought to you by Weekend in Taipei.
just said no more secrets.
Shut up and let me drive. Come on, who is this guy?
I'm an undercover DEA agent to finally take Kwong's operation now.
Bring me my wife, and you killed John Mahler.
So you came back after all this time for Kwong, but not for me?
I'll just take 1 weekend. I'm not gonna lose you again. So you haven't changed a bit.
Thanks.
Weekend in Taipei, now playing only in theaters.
Oh, I'm going to go again this weekend. I saw it last weekend. It's an amazing action-packed and actually kind of low-key funny, too. It really, really is. All right, tonight, sometimes you don't always get good Thursday night games, but tonight is not that night. You've got the Commanders. You've got the Eagles. You've got a 3.5-point spread courtesy of the Eagles, the total sitting at 48.5. These are the two top teams in the NFC East. Both teams have 7 wins. So, as we get into it, DG, real quickly, before we do the overs and the unders specifically, do you agree with either Seabass or do you agree with Peyton? Because we have a guy on either side.
I think it's Seabass I agree with. I like Washington here to cover the plus 3.5 just because of that hook that you're on the right side of. It's a divisional game. They seem to always be close. We're looking at possibly going on the under. And so if you can somehow get the points in an under game, division rivals, you have to go that direction.
Raphael, what about you? Peyton or Seabass?
Ooh, probably Peyton, just because it's 3.5. Some books moved it to 4 to try to get as much money on Washington because the books know it's going to be all Eagle parlays tonight. So if you're looking for Washington, wait for that book to move to 4. We'll see a couple 4s all afternoon.
And if you like the Eagles, then maybe lay an extra 20 cents and perhaps bring that number down to 3. Remember, if you're a new bettor here at DTL, we want everybody. We want to educate you and entertain. And the 3 main numbers that are so incredibly important, 3, 7, and 10. Let's take a look. Seabass, come over to you. Let's look at the quarterbacks tonight. A great matchup. You got the young kid, Jaden Daniels, number 2 pick in the draft. He's been amazing. He's in the MVP discussion. Jalen Hurts is showing all of us that he is now back as one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. Let's start with Seabass and then go DG, Raphael, Peyton, piggyback. Let's start with Jaden Daniels. Are we going over? We going under?
Coach, I was looking at these numbers when I was actually thinking of plays to make for this game, and I just really didn't get a good feel on either one. But if I'm liking Washington and I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game, I think I got to have to agree with Raphael and take the under on Jaden Daniels and his pass yards tonight.
I'm going to piggyback off that as well. I'm going to go under on Jaden Daniels as on that because I don't think this is going to be a game that's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a line of a scrimmage game. And so I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels under on the 226.5.
Couldn't agree more. I'm going unders on both. There is rain in the forecast too, so we can see a run happy game, just like how we saw last game when everyone made fun of me when I said run happy game on Monday night. So I think unders on both.
I'm going unders as well on both because Jaden Daniels or the Eagles really play good defense against the passing game, and they only give up 173 yards a game. That's top 5 in the NFL. So I'm also going with Jalen Hurts under the 22 or 223.5 as well because I think they're going to be up in the game running the football with Saquon.
Okay, my next question will just be Seabass and DG, apparently. So Matt says I brought it down to 3 because you taught me the juice can be worth the squeeze. So just Seabass and DG, are we going over and under on Jalen Hurts?
DG, you want to go first?
Go ahead. You lead us off, sir.
Okay. Jalen, again, I got to take the same mindset that I did against or with Jaden. But actually, you know what? I'm going to take it. Jalen Hurts over. Put him over. I think Philly's going to throw a little bit early. Give me Hurts in the over.
This is a Saquon game. Give me the under on Jalen Hurts as well. I split these up, Coach, because I'm a true professional, and I know what I'm doing over here.
Yeah. Shout out to Austin. He goes, this just hurts to listen to. Austin, I agree. I completely agree. All right, let's flip it over now. Who's going to be running the football tonight? Well, on both sides, we got really good running backs. Seabass, let's start with you and see if we can do this correctly. Brian Robinson, over or under his rushing yard total?
I'm going to take him over. Brian Robinson over tonight. If Jaden Daniels is going under on passing, they're going to be running the football. I want to see him. I like him over.
I agree with Seabass on the over, but I'm going under just because I have a gut feeling that I just don't see with them leaning on Brian Robinson. Austin Eckler, on the other sense, I think that could be an Eckler game tonight.
I like both kickers. I mean, I like Brian Robinson over 47.5 rushing. I think he gets the ball a lot today. Look for his rushing attempts as well. So I like Robinson Jr. over.
I like him under because I think he's a little banged up. And 47.5, I think Jaden's going to be throwing it. So I think they're going to be losing. I don't see Washington running the ball in the second half that much.
You guys won't believe this. And you guys know family is everything here at DTL. And as the entire show is off the tracks, my daughter just texted me in the middle of a show, a national show, I might add. Where's the dog's food? Same place it always is. That's my life this morning. Apparently nobody knows where we're going. Saquon Barkley, he is rejuvenated. This man is running like he was a rookie. Like he just come out of Penn State, jumping over people backwards. But it begs the question tonight. His rushing and receiving yards, somebody in chat already likes it around 110. But what about his rushing number? This is high, Seabass. It's really high for a running back. What do you like here?
It is high for a running back. Anytime I see a line that's over 90, even though I know they can get there, I don't like to take it. The run game in the NFL is not what it used to be. And because it is high, I'm just going to take the under.
I'm going to go with the over. I know that number looks scary, but they're going to feed Saquon. His rushing attempts, that I believe, is at 18.5. That's a good look as well because I think he gets up to 20, and I think he ends up going off for 100+ tonight.
I like the under 95.5, but the total receiving yards and rushing yards over 110. I think he's going to be a big factor on the ground and in the air, but I'll take the under 95.5.
All right, little hashtag stay on your toes play from Raphael tonight. Hashtag it pays to watch live most of the time. Now, let's flip it over to receivers tonight. We're getting the side eye from Seabass. Terry McLaren. Boy, isn't it nice that he now has a quarterback to go with his talents? So let's start there. His number is 61.5. Seabass, we going over, under?
I love Scary Terry. I think he's going to get some yards tonight. Give me his over. Give me his over.
I'm going to ride that train as well. Scary Terry for the over 61.5 receiving yards.
I like the under is Scary Terry. If I think Daniels is going to have a mediocre game, then I think Scary Terry is not going to do that much.
I like the over 61.5. I'm going back to just because Jaden Daniels is going to be throwing the ball in the fourth. He's going to get some good completions late in the game.
Well, you've got to back yourself into a corner there, young Peyton, because I believe you played the under, and then you're saying there's going to be a lot of passes in this game from.
I think there's going to be a lot of short passes in this game, a lot of completions towards the end. So that's why I don't feel comfortable taking the over on Jaden Daniels passing yards.
Okay. Hey, you don't have to get hot. I'm just kind of pointing out what you said. These are your words. These are your words. What does he say? Last player, A.J. Brown. I don't even know why I'm paying attention to the chat today. They're just all kinds of negative in a fun way. A.J. Brown, when he's healthy, Seabass, this guy is an absolute beast. But when we start talking about the best wide receivers in the game, we don't mention him anymore. Seeing his number low to me, are we going over under?
Oh, man, that's another one. Oh, wow. Over. That was me throwing a dart. I got the over.
A.J. Brown has went over. Looks like it is 5 of the last 6 games. Washington is very good, surprisingly, against wide receivers, but I'm going to go over as well, over 82.5.
I agree, over 82.5. And DraftKings just moved this number to 4, like I said about 5 minutes ago. We'll see 4s popping up in and out. But I like A.J. Brown over 82.5.
I like it as well. He's been doing it almost every game, and he's going to catch a long reception tonight. So I like him for 82.5.
You can't make this up. Not only did I get a text about the dog, but now daughter walks in as you guys are giving me your incredible analysis as we're throwing stuff against the wall, flipping coins, all the good things that really smart betting shows do. Producer man, I need the 5-shot. No, I need to see all these high-level cappers that everybody tunes into for every single day. And so my beautiful daughter walks in just now and goes, Dad. I go, hey, DG's talking right here. Can I reload the Starbucks card? Oh, my God.
Yes.
Oh, my God. I just don't even know where I go as far as 15 minutes left.
We're entertaining, Coach. We're entertaining. This is that part of the show. And sometimes a play is just not one that you like. You know, I could have gone with Charles' approach for show purposes.
Could have. It's a vibe. We just don't know what that vibe is. DTL on a Thursday. All right, you degenerates who stay with us for the entire hour. How? I am not quite sure. But Aaron Rodgers was on the Pat McAfee show, and he was asked this very important question, Raphael. He said, do you plan on playing next year? Well, if he is to play for the Jets, they would have to pick up a team option at $35 million a year. Seems like a bargain now for a starting quarterback, but do you think we truly will see Aaron Rodgers next year playing in the NFL?
I agree with what I heard on TV today. He said what he said to try to get traded or get out of the Jets. I don't think he'll be in a Jet uniform next year, but I think he plays one more year. Where is he going to play? I'm sure the companies want me to do odds probably in the next week or so, but I don't think he's in a Jets uniform next year.
Interesting. DG, your thoughts?
Why would he play? Why does he need to play? I get he's aging and he needs to he's feeling himself like, hey, I have something to prove. I just think you have to look in the mirror a lot of these times and say, hey, I just don't have it anymore. I'm aging and I'm out.
Peyton, in about 19 years, you'll understand what 40 is all about. But for a guy to want to play past that, we're talking Tom Brady and are we going to see Aaron Rodgers in New York?
No. He just has not been very good. He can't even move out there anymore. And if you can't, you got to throw some good balls, and he hasn't really been doing that either. So I don't love what he's been doing.
Seabass, I kind of agree with that. He's looked very immobile this entire season after that Achilles injury.
Yeah, first of all, I'm tired of seeing him on Pat McAfee show. Maybe he should spend less time on the Pat McAfee show, maybe more time, working on those throws, so he maybe could get a little bit more mobile. Is that mobile? But no, I don't think he's in New York. And for somebody who really didn't like Brett Favre and wanted to be different, see him going to Minnesota. Same path as Brett Favre. How about that?
It does kind of feel the exact same way. Our chat is weighing in on all the important things this morning. John says teenage girls love Starbucks. John, now I get a text from her. I can't make this up. She goes, thanks, Dad. Love you as always. And I'm not sure if it's the credit card as always or the I love you as always. Not quite sure. You'll get there someday, DG. Don't even worry about it. Enjoy the youngsters. Oh, she heard me. She said both. We're back in 3 seconds. All right, we are back, and we continue on a glorious Thursday. We just want your day to start off with a few laughs, but also to be educated and entertained as well. You know that we are live every single prime time game. Our next one Sunday night, I can't make this up. I think it's going to be a really good one, even though if you look at the records, not necessarily the case. We've got the Bengals and the Chargers, but here's the problem. Is now we're starting to get into week 11, DG. I want to start with you. And when you look at the wild card race, well, Cincinnati is 5th right now at 4-6. So the perception is that they are out of it. The Chargers at 6-3 have been very workmanlike. My stomach tells me that this is a close game. What about you?
I think that the Bengals are going to surprise some people because old khaki pants there, I believe he's got something coming for him. And Joe Burrow, I think that Chase is going to play pissed off. Going for 2 last game against the Ravens, and they came up short. This team is going to be a little bit more rested after playing kind of a little bit more time off. And so I love the Bengals going against the Chargers here.
Jenks the Mouse just asked me, haha, is she watching? No, apparently this place is not as soundproof as I thought that it was. And she's out into the kitchen. So that's how she can hear me. They're gone now. They got to go to school. 16 years old. It is what it is. Seabass, let me come over to you because right now the Chargers are only favored by 1.5, 47.5. And if you're the Bengals, you've got 2 losses so far to the Ravens that if they don't make it to the playoffs this year and they look back at what went wrong, it's going to be those 2 games by a combined 4 points. One went to overtime. One went to the last 20 seconds, and they went for 2. That's how close the Bengals are to being over 500, but also Joe Burrow is having an MVP caliber number season, but certainly not in the conversation because they are 4-6.
Unfortunately for the Bengals, they're playing good football on the offensive side. If they can find any sense of defense at any point for the remainder of the year, they'll be all right. They'll be fine. Joe Burrow, you're right. He is having a great year. He's thrown the ball all over the place. He looks good. And it's just been the inability to stop people when it matters. And yeah, it's great that you can score 35 a game, but when you give up 36, it doesn't do you any good in the win column.
It does not do us any good. But Peyton, when we're talking about either fantasy or PrizePicks, and you got numbers like what Joe Burrow's putting up, it makes it a little bit easier to put together a demon or a goblin.
Yeah, that's for sure. And and they're going to be running
right?
into.
Was that
yes,
right?
it's great. Yes, it's
a
very
little
right,
Wayne
yes.
verse.
It was very right. It was just kind of funny. It was great. I think that the Chargers are going to be running into a really good Bengals team, really hot offensively. And, with the Chargers defense, that's kind of been the thing that's really held them to their record. And I think that a hot Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, I think that's going to be tough to run into. And I like the Bengals in this game.
I'm just wondering if we can get Raphael to dress up like young Peyton, have the chain across the neck and the nice collared shirt. What do you think, Raphael? Can we spoof you up just a little bit and let Peyton be in charge of that?
I would have to grow the lettuce out a little bit more, but I could probably do that. Why do they call it Goblin? Why do you call it Freddie and Michael? That'd be a better name than Goblin and stuff like that. Give me a break, PrizePicks. But hey, DG likes the other side. This one will move to 2 and 2.5. I can guarantee there's the almighty Circa in Las Vegas already has it at 2. So this is a late game. You'll see probably a better number if you like the dog. And right now, everybody has 4 on tonight's game. I just got a text saying it's a big 5-figure action coming in on the Eagles as we speak right now.
5-figure action on the Eagles. Are they, and I don't know if you can see this in your numbers, by the way, but if they're at 3.5 and somebody bets -3 per se, and they're laying 50 large, does that show up in your numbers, or it just says a bet on the Eagles?
Well, normally I'll get a text if someone bet the 50 large. It won't come on my number, so I pretty much have to add that into my figures and stuff like that. But the way the screen is looking right now, that big action went everywhere, not just at one book.
Wow. All right, DG, go.
Yeah, I want to ask Raphael, but anybody else. So we haven't seen, I don't think, Jaden Daniels play in the, I guess, the rain and honestly what could be coming tonight into the weather. I'm curious because he played at LSU. What do we know a little bit of the background of how he's been? But we've seen that on Jalen Hurts, and so could that number be the reason it's going at that direction is because of the rain? And we know of what we know with Jalen Hurts compared to Jaden Daniels.
I think the bettors are looking at last week's game. Yes, I know the Washington scored 20 plus on Pittsburgh's defense, but how are you going to come back mentally on this game where the Eagles have been playing outstanding football, especially on the defensive side, especially on the passing defensive side? I think the bettors are realizing, and you're at home in Philly with rain possibility.
And by the way, speaking of the Steelers and the Ravens, we'll have a full breakdown of that game. Sunday morning, we are live at 10 a.m. Eastern time right here on YouTube, and also Sunday evening at 7 Eastern time. All the games. It's starting to get serious as we head into Week 11. Now, we know there's a lot of you that could not be here at the top of the show at 10 a.m. Eastern time, and quite frankly, it's probably a good thing. But we've got you covered here because all of us have plays, 10 seconds or less, a nugget or two, little something we like to call the whip around. All right, here we go. Raphael, start us off.
My Magic 8-Ball told me today these were 2 plays were great. Magic 8-Ball, Peyton is a toy in the 1980s, went in the Hall of Fame in 96. Commanders team total under 23.5 points, laying a buck in the court. I just think it's going to be an under type game all over, especially if weather is involved. Give me Jane Daniels under 226 passing yards -3 nickels. What the Steelers did last week, the Eagles are going to do this week.
Boom, Seabass 3, talk to me.
I'm going to take the Commanders plus 3.5 on the road today. Close division game. I like it a lot. And that being said, I'll take the Eagles first quarter under 6.5 points. They've only done this in their last 2 games. The rest of the season so far, they have not put up that many points. They had 0 in the first quarter. And then over in the NHL, Sharks over half a goal in the second period tonight at the New York Rangers.
By the way, real quick, they're asking where you can find that second goal play at, Seabass.
Yeah, it's on BetMGM and FanDuel, actually.
All right, it pays to have several different accounts. DG, coming over to you. It's all one player for you tonight.
Just grabbed Raphael's 8-Ball, and I just shook it as well, and it said, play lively, and it's going to go over 8.5 points at plus 100, over 8.5 rebounds, then over 1.5 assists at plus 105. I'm all over this game going against the Jazz team that isn't good against the center position.
Oh, and the quotes just keep on coming from the crew. Thank you, DG. Young Peyton, what do we got?
Going with the Eagles to cover at 3.5, minus 108. The Commanders have just one win against a team over 500. That was the Arizona Cardinals. There are other wins against teams who are a combined 21-37 record. Plus the Commanders' corner, Marshawn Lattimore, who they brought in at the deadline, is not playing. So I'm going with the Eagles tonight. I'm also going with the Dallas Mavericks to cover as well at minus 112. These guys have a bad taste in their mouths. The Mavs have lost the last 3 games by 1, 2, and 3 points. I know it's early, but they don't just need to win the game tonight. They need to shoot the ball well and absolutely blow out a terrible Utah Jazz team to get back on their feet in the Western Conference.
I like that a lot. Thank you, Young Peyton. I'm going to go with 2. They're gut feeling, but when you play from behind, we've seen this time and time again this year. The quarterback goes over his attempts, and we'll go over his completions. I like both numbers tonight. 2 more housekeeping things, and then mercifully, we're going to get out of Dodge today. Howie Schwab, crew play of the day. You guys agree with Young Peyton. You're going to go with the Eagles minus 3.5. So, Peyton, that's a lot of responsibility on your shoulders to carry the entire crew and the entire chat today. So I hope that you are prepared for that. Now, we always end every single show with Rafi's stat of the day. Raphael, where are we going today?
Well, that's yesterday's stat. It is cash yesterday because the Avalanche won 16-3. But my stat was Commanders' last 11 games, 9 of as an underdog, 9 of them have gone over the total. If you like Washington, I think the game goes over the total.
All right, I like that a lot. I actually told producer, man, let's put up something that will really wrap the show into a nice bow on the entire 60 minutes. And so having an old graphic just did that for us solid.
The graphic hit. They won yesterday.
I mean, that's a positive. That's a huge positive. It really, really is. Well done today, guys. Well done. We will talk after the show. Rob says, best of luck tonight, crew. Great show and knowledge as always, guys. All right, it's going to be a busy day. Do not forget you get the podcast. If you're not a premium member, I encourage you to do so. Or maybe if Lucas scores 50 tonight, I'll give away 5 on tomorrow's show. But now it's time for you to go out into the world and understand this. There is only one thing left to do. I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. Ryan Tucker, Lobo, Young Peyton, my numbers guy, Raphael, the man from Memphis, Tennessee, DG, and Seabass, the only 5-star chef in the game. Never forget about producer man, always behind the scenes, making the show look like $1 million. I am simply the coach, trying to get this train on said tack. We cried for you so we can win with you. We'll see you tonight on DTL Prime Time Live. Good luck.